Today we are applying the distributive property from chapter 2.5, lesson 2.5, finding the perimeter and area of the rectangle to begin with. So if we think about this as two separate rectangles, this blue one here to find, first I'm going to find the area. We're going to skip perimeter for a second. The area would be base times height, so 3 times x, we just put them together, it's 3x. You could put a multiplication symbol there, but we don't know what x is, so it's just 3x. This one, 3 times 4, to give us the red rectangle, 3 times 4 would be 12. So our area is 3x plus 12, because we don't know what x is. Our perimeter, on the other hand, is adding up all of the sides. The perimeter means we add up all the sides. So for this rectangle, we have 3 plus x. Now we're going to do this whole one all the way around. Plus another 4. Plus this side, if the left is 3, the right is also 3. Plus the top, which is 4. Plus the other side here, which is x. So now what we're going to do is what we call combine like terms. We can combine the ones that are just numbers 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. They're all positives. 3 plus 4 is 7. Plus 3 more is 10. Plus 4 more is 14. We combined all those together. And this is really a 1x and this is really a 1x. So we have 1x plus 1x is 2x. So we combined those together as well. I always like to write our x's first because that is how your answer key will write your answer as well. So our perimeter is 2x plus 14. Let's look at the next one. First, finding the area, base times height. Well, this is x and this is 6x. Again, this is just a 1. If we multiply just our numbers first, 1 times 6 is 6. And then our x is x times x is going to be the same as x to the power of 2x 2 times, or x squared. So just this rectangle is 6x squared. And this other smaller rectangle, 6 times 7 is 42, but it's also multiplied by an x. So our area is 6x squared plus 42x. We cannot combine these together because this is x squared and this is just x. They are different. Then finding our perimeter. Perimeter adding up all the sides. Here we have 1x plus 7 plus 6x plus another 7 plus another 1x plus the left side is also 6x. Running out of room there. So combining our like terms, combining our x's, 1x plus 6x would be 7x, plus 1 more is 8x, 8 plus 6 more x's, it's going to give us 14x, and then we just have plus 7 plus 7, 7 plus 7 gives us another, just a regular 14. So our answer for perimeter is 14x plus 14. So now we've found both the perimeter and the area of the rectangle. We're going to focus more on the area today because that applies or relates to the distributive property. So down here we have the distributive property. I like to think of this as a classroom and a teacher. Everything that's inside the parentheses is everybody that's inside our classroom. So we have y in there and we have 3 in there. The 4 is outside. That's like our teacher standing in front of the classroom, or over here standing in the back of the classroom. It doesn't matter where the teacher is in charge of the classroom. So if the teacher is going to give candy to the classroom, she has to give it to, or he has to give it to the 4, to the y, and to the 3. So I'm going to set this up. Think of this as our classroom. Here's the front. Teacher is at the front, 4, and everybody in our classroom is y plus 3. So we're going to multiply or distribute. 4 times y is 4y. 4 times 3 is 12. So our answer is 4y plus 12. If you did that just multiplying like this, 4 times y is 4y, and 4 times 3 is 12, you get the same answer. It doesn't matter how you do it. So this one, same thing. Our teacher is really the y out front, just regular y, and our classroom is y plus 7. So here's like before, y times y is really y to the power of 2, or y squared. If you happen to have y squared times y, well, there's 2 y's here and 1 here, so that would be y to the power of 3. You're just counting up how many y's are there really. And then last, y times 7, always put the number first, that's 7y. So our answer is y squared plus 7y. Here's another, if you want to draw the box, you can, to multiply. Our classroom is 2 minus n, and our teacher out front is 8. 8 times 2 is 16, and 8 times negative n, this is really a negative 1n, it gives us negative 8n. So your answer is 16 minus 8n. If you wrote that as negative 8n plus 16, and just flip-flop these, that is fine, it's really the same thing. This one, if you want to draw your box, go for it. If you want to multiply like this, that's fine. We have n out front, and then n minus 9 on the top. N times n, just like up here with the y's, n times n is n to the power of 2, or squared. N times negative 9 is just negative 9n. There we go. Flip on over to slide 3. This one's a little bit tricky because this is really, there's no number here, it's really a negative 1. Okay? So if we're going to distribute this, negative 1 times 2x is just negative 2x. Negative 1 times a negative 11, a negative times a negative makes a positive, and 1 times 11 is just 11. If you wanted to draw your box for that one, you could have. You'll get the same answer. This one, same thing. 2n plus 6 is our classroom. Teacher is 1/2. 1/2 times 2 is just, well, it's half of 2. Half of 2 is just 1, and there's an n there. And then 1/2 times 6, half of 6 is 3. So your answer is 1n plus 3. This one I have a little star by because it is a little bit tricky. Who is our teacher and who is our classroom in this one? Well, this is really 2 terms. We have multiple people in our classroom, so that's our classroom, and minus 5. This is really just 1 term, so that's our teacher out front, negative 3m. So this is really negative 3 times 1, which is still negative 3. And m times m is m to the power of 2. Then negative 3 times negative 5 makes a positive 15, and there's an m. So we have negative 3m squared plus 15m. It's a plus because it's positive. Alright, over here we have, I'm just going to multiply like this on this one. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. 2x plus 6. So now we're going to get into some more technical terms here. Terms are parts that are added or subtracted from each other. So every single one of these pieces is a term. So if they ask us to list out our terms are y, 9, negative 3y, 2h, and negative 17. Then we have like terms. These are what we combined together when we did our perimeter earlier. They're terms with identical variables. Variables, remember, are the letters. Or like terms could also be constants, numbers that are just a number, no letter with it. So like terms are terms that we could combine together, identical variable parts. So this is a y and this is a negative 3y. We could combine those together. Those are like terms. They both have a y. So y and negative 3y are like terms. And we have another pair of like terms. This 2h, there's not any other h's, so we can't combine that with anything else. But over here we have a 9 and a negative 17. Those are both what we call constants, which I'll get to down here. Then we have a coefficient. A coefficient is whatever number is in front of the variable or the letter. So here we would really have a 1 in front of the y, so a coefficient would be a 1. There's no letter here, there's no coefficient. Here our letter is y, our coefficient in front is -3. Here our letter is h, the number in front is 2, so our coefficient, the number, is 2. And then -17, there's no number in front of a letter there, it's just a number, it doesn't count. So these ones that didn't have coefficients, those are what we call constants, 9 and -17. Like up here, those were the ones we said we could combine together. They are like terms, but they are just numbers without variables. Just the numbers. So down here we are going to combine our like terms. Like terms have the same variable parts, or they're just constants. So this one has 5xy, this also has xy, and this also has xy. So we're going to combine these all together. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 10 more is 17, and they're all xy's. And then we cannot combine this -3 with anything, so it's just -3. On to the next one. Always start with your letters first. Here we really have a -1x and a positive 11x. So if we combine those, 11 minus 1 is 10x. And then we have -8 plus 5. There are more negatives, so it's a -3. 8 minus 5 is 3. So there we have simplified that. Couple more. This one just combining your like terms. There's nothing to distribute here. We have 5y and -14y. Different signs. We're going to subtract 14 minus 5 is going to give us 9. And those are y's, but there's more negatives. 14 minus 5 is -9y. This next one, we do have to distribute because this is really a -1. So if we multiply that -1 times x, that's really -1x. Then -1 times 7 is -7. So we really have 11x minus 1x minus 7. But we can combine our like terms here. 11 minus 1 is 10x. So our answer is 10x minus 7. Same thing down here. Let's distribute first. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 4 is a -8. And then we just have that -3. So combining our like terms here, a -8 plus a -3, that's going to give us -11. So we have -2x minus 11. This last one, there are no parentheses, so we're just going to combine our like terms. This 2w is all alone, it's just 2w. And then we have 7 plus -8, or 7 minus 8 is -1. These ones, same thing, but getting a little bit more challenging. These are touching, we're really multiplying or distributing this -3y to this and to this. If you want to draw a box on this one, that one might be helpful. Our teacher out front is -3y, and here we have 5 minus y. So -3 times 5 is -15, and there's a y. This is really a -1. -3 times -1 is +3. And y times y is y squared. So we have -15y plus 3y squared, plus we have this 8y. So combining our like terms, this y and this y we can combine. This one we cannot because it's squared. So we have 3y squared, and then there's more negatives, so it's going to be a -7y. -15 plus 8 is -7. I'm going to pause the video here and continue with the next one. So make sure you try these. I would try these on your own first, and then go through them with me in a minute.